So we want to help Africans who are helping themselves.
The problem for President Kagame is that this incident is tarnishing his reputation, because until now he'd been seen very much as by the international community as the man who'd held Rwanda together, who'd brought Rwanda forward after the 1994 genocide. Now with this trial underway, in the manner under which it's been taken, that could all be looked upon very differently. I spoke to President Kagame in Kigali last week.
We say to Paul Kagame, stop this nonsense of kidnapping people who disagree with you.
I want to make a clarion call to my brother and the president of Rwanda not to engage in what he's trying to do of a modern slavery. President Paul Kagame is one of the respected leaders in our continent. But what he's doing with the United Kingdom, saying there will be an exchange of immigrants from United Kingdom to Rwanda, and then they will give him money. That is a modern exchange of slavery. It reminds us of painful times of slavery. And President Kagame, we are making a call for you to relook into that decision. You cannot exchange immigrants who majority are Africans and blacks for money. Our people can no longer be for sale. No one must ever think that for a second I can trade a human being. We are making a plea. If there is a home for those migrants, President Kagame, go and fetch them in the United Kingdom and bring them to Rwanda for free. Let us not do what the colonizers want us to do. UK has never respected us, and it will never respect us, but it is our leaders who allow these people to do what they are doing. Those of you who are relatives of King Mswati in Swaziland, you must tell him you will never know peace for as long as there is no democracy in Swaziland. The EFF is going to fight until the people of Swaziland realize their freedom. We are not free as long as Swaziland is not free. The day Swaziland becomes free, we will be free. The day Swaziland celebrate its Freedom Day, we will also celebrate our Freedom Day. When you say freedom for you, what about the people of Swaziland? Remember, the people of Swaziland fight alongside the people of Swaziland because we are Swaziland, and Swaziland is us. We are one thing. ZANU-PF has destroyed what was a promising land of Zimbabwe, and the current leader of Zimbabwe is clueless like the South African leader. They are the same like they are twins. So the people of Zimbabwe, we want to make a plea. Please, when you are here in South Africa, don't worry, you are at home. But when there are elections at home, go there in your numbers. Go and vote and remove that nonsense that is happening in Zimbabwe. And come back if you want to come back. You cannot just fold your hands. The people of Zimbabwe must rise here in South Africa and go and vote for a proper government in Zimbabwe. If they want to come back, they are welcome, no problem. But let's help each other so that there is a proper government in Zimbabwe, and we'll bring a proper government in South Africa. We become one big family. Let's not be comfortable and think, no, all is well as long as we are in South Africa. Let's not forget, as Zimbabweans, that we've got a duty at home to deliver a progressive government that will respect human rights, that will make sure the economy of Zimbabwe grows, that will make sure it defeats poverty and unemployment. Because a progressive and developing Zimbabwe is a solution to the problems of South Africa.
So, apparently, the president of Rwanda, President Paul Kagame, has been, quotations, selling Africans to the UK people. And the UK has been paying him money. Something that is not very well taken by Julius Malema. Julius Malema has called it for what it is. Julius Malema said that this is modern day slavery, and Africans should not sell its own people. Sell is in quotations, not my words. So Africans should sell their own people, should not sell their own people to these white people. First of all, I agree with Julius Malema. If this is true, it shouldn't be the case. And secondly, Julius Malema said the UK does not respect Africans, leave alone Africans, but African leaders. This was evident by what we saw happening during the Queen's funeral. African leaders were loaded into a bus like school kids. You could see African leaders who here in Africa drive very expensive cars, like 10 of them. In UK, they were taken not as equals. They were not African leaders no more. They were Africans over there. They were loaded into a bus. So this is evident that these people really don't respect Africans. But if it's true what Kagame was doing, selling Africans to slavery, working over there, I just don't know what it is exactly, but I want us to watch this video so that we can have a clear picture, and I'll give you my critical analysis by the end of the video. Yeah.
We need to protect our women because they are being killed, they are being raped in their own households where they're supposed to be safe. This freedom will never be celebrated by any woman because South Africa has declared war against women. Freedom means that we must all be equal. And therefore the question should be, are we equal? If the answer is no, therefore there is no freedom. Freedom means equality, not only of gender, between black and white. And you need to ask the question, are black people and white people equal? If the answer is no, therefore there is no freedom. Because equality will mean that we must own the land of South Africa equally. We must own the economy of South Africa equally. But the way things are, we do not own more than 10% of the land of our ancestors. Our land is owned by those who came here as visitors. And then they now impose on us the so-called freedom. When the revolution started in South Africa, we never demanded to vote. The revolution was started by the land question. It was not started by voting. Because once we owned the land, voting was an automatic thing. Now they give us some useless passerby thing called voting. And they say, you've got what you have been fighting for. No one went to prison for us to vote. They went to prison for us to reclaim the land and own the land. Once you are the owner of the land, what is voting? It's automatic. Let's go and spread the message of African unity. Because the unity of Africa is a unity of black people. And the enemy doesn't want to see black people united. The unity of Africa offends them. Therefore, we must make sure that we unite the continent of Africa. And the unity of Africa does not threaten us. it actually makes us to grow and become a better continent.
At the core of everything, we noticed that the Rwandan president was being paid some pounds by the government of UK. It was pounds in millions. Pounds is a very large amount of money. You know, it's even heavier than the US dollar. Right now, it's exchanging at 200 shillings, Kenya shillings, that is. How much do you think it will fetch for Rwandan currency, Rwandan franc? This is so much, and it's a lot of money. Now, the thing that is raising questions here is, why is he being paid for these Africans, for the immigrants, you know? Why? I think if it's a human thing, there shouldn't be no payment. There shouldn't be a payment. There should be just an amount that is going to help with the keep up and the upkeeps, things that human needs essentially, and of course they need money. Africans should learn to be dependent on themselves. Africans should learn to not depend on the West. If we depend on the West too much, then we are not really free. They'll force their interests on us. I've seen interviews where Paul Kagame was talking against this oppression of white people. These things that they say. He was saying no, this and that. But then, I think we must always walk the talk. If you don't want the legislation of someone in your country, then you shouldn't want also what they gave you. You shouldn't take their money. Once you take their money, you exchange your rights with money. You exchange your power with money. So UK will come, Rwanda might even one day become a small base for the UK. In as much as improbable as it is not impossible. It is improbable but not impossible. Africans should learn to be independent with themselves. We should build our own industries. We should build our own jobs. We should create jobs for the youth so that people are not really fantasizing moving to the UK, because in reality the grass is not greener on the other side. Here in my country, I feel people like going over to the UK so much, and because they think it's a better place. Yes, you might be making a lot of money over there, but the problem comes when you want to pay the bills. More money, more bills. The money matches the bills, so you are left with almost negligible amounts, which is not really good. I don't think UK is such an heaven. It's not a heaven. It's clean, yes, it's cleaner than Africa, but it's not heaven. It's not heaven. So African leaders, create jobs for Africans. African leaders, live by your words. African leaders, don't be hypocritical. Don't call the West hypocrites and yourself is a hypocrite. Don't do that. If you don't like the legislation of someone, do not take their money also. If you take their money, you exchange values for money, moral values for money. And Malema was right by sharing his opinion, if it's true that he did that. We shouldn't have modern day slavery, if it truly existed. And that's all I can say for today. All this which is happening right now, it might be caused by greed by African leaders who they don't feel content with what they have. Power is something that African leader will never want to leave power. If you tell an African leader to leave power, you want to be their enemy. They want to cling on power until they die, which is not something which is not okay. It's not really okay. So that's it for today. See you in the next video, and do give the video a super thanks. It really helps me a lot. Join my Patreon. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, choose one which works for you.